that took place on the subway, they brought, what's the guy's name that did the choking?
You're talking about Daniel Penny?
Daniel Penny, yeah. But they brought him back to the station and questioned him. Did he know at the time they questioned him after the incident that what's his name was dead?
My understanding is, based on testimony that I've seen so far, that police are alleging that they did tell him that he had passed away. Yes, based on testimony.
At the time they interviewed him on tape, he didn't know that Penny was dead.
Okay, well, my understanding,
okay, so let me finish.
I'm trying to answer your question. My understanding, based on testimony, is that the officers did inform him that he was dead. Now, I don't know whether they informed him before the interview or after the interview, but they did tell him that he was dead that day.
Well, it had to be after the interview.
Okay, and why are you bringing that up?
He didn't know at the time.
And why are you bringing that up?
The reason why I bring that up is because he didn't know the man was dead. They questioned him.
Okay, and how is that? And how is that? And how is that relevant in the?
So then the answer, the reason why it's important is because they didn't arrest him, Brian. They let him go.
Okay.
So you're saying that because he didn't,
all right. So let's talk about that. Hold on. Let's talk about that. They let him go. Are you aware of a guy by? Are you aware of a guy by the name of Scott Peterson? Are you aware that he? Hold on, no. I'm making the case. I'm making the case for you because what you just said, you sound like an imbecile. Just because officers don't make an arrest right away doesn't mean they don't think that a crime was or was not committed. Your point makes absolutely no sense. They also didn't arrest O.J. Simpson on the scene of the crime right away. They didn't put him in custody. The reason why I bring up Scott Peterson is because they suspected he murdered his wife and unborn child for months, but they didn't make an arrest because they needed to gather more evidence and information. And that's exactly what these investigators did. So if you're trying to make an absurd point that, oh, well, they didn't arrest him right after the interview, so they must have thought he was innocent, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's something called an ongoing investigation where they need more evidence. They need to be able to gather more evidence. They need to be able to interview. They hadn't even finished interviewing all the witnesses on the subway. They hadn't even seen the video yet before they decided to interview him and let him go. So, Herb, your point makes absolutely and positively no sense.
It makes a lot of sense because they knew.
Did what I just say make not any sense to you?
Let me finish, Brian. You want to have a conversation, but yet no, you don't want anybody to talk.
Because Brian, you're not addressed what I just said.
Brian, they knew Penny was the one that choked him.
They didn't have.
It wasn't like there was a
Herb, I need you to hear me. Herb, I need you to. Herb,
they knew he did it.
Okay,
let
Herb.
Me give you a scenario, and I want you to answer
wait. Just hear me out on this. Herb, I'm gonna let you give me a scenario, but wait a second. I need you to listen to me for give me 20 seconds here, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Does it make sense that sometimes they need to finish interviewing witnesses, see video, DNA, and continue an investigation before they make a determination whether a crime was committed or not? Do you not understand that? Yes or no?
Yes, I do understand.
Okay, so now we can finish that part of the conversation because you were making the case that because they didn't arrest him right away after the interview that somehow he must be innocent. Herb, that's not true. So now that we've established that, go ahead and move on to something else.
My question, let me give you a scenario. Let me see how you answer this. Let's say, for example, you went to work and your wife, I know you're not married, but let's just say that you were married and your wife had your 3-year-old child with her, and she had to take the subway to the doctor to get the child checked up or something at the doctor. She's on the subway in that situation.
I know exactly what you're asking me. I know exactly what you're asking. I know exactly what you're asking.
Is hollering he's going to kill somebody. He doesn't give a damn what happens to him. They have no clue what weapons he has or anything like that.
Yes.
And he lunges at your wife and your child.
Here's what I would want. I know exactly.
Somebody was there to defend her or to stop that from happening?
So there is a difference between defending her and killing somebody. There is a fine line, and I don't know why you're laughing. There's nothing funny about this case.
I'm laughing
and there's nothing funny about my answer. You just have a problem listening. If anybody in my family was in harm's way where there was screaming and yelling and threats, I wouldn't have a problem with somebody subduing an individual. I would have a problem with somebody keeping somebody in a chokehold after that person is unconscious and not breathing. That's the part that people like you don't understand. This isn't about defending yourself. It's about killing somebody. When somebody is in a chokehold and they're not breathing, and mark my words, Daniel Penny knew that this man was not breathing. He had training. He knew. This man was motionless for over a minute. And during the time that this man was unconscious, Daniel Penny kept his grip and kept this guy in a chokehold.